Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. It's an absolutely amazing pleasure to be able to introduce Emma Sims to you. Emma is a very treasured member of the CMA, and so we wanted to do this showcase video for you today so that you can find out a lot more about her work, what's led her to this particular point in her life, and the beautiful work that she puts out into the world, and how you can take advantage of this as well. So Emma, thank you for joining me and welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. So I run an energy school. It's the Emma Sims School of Energy, and my journey has been quite varied, but very incredible because I had a very profound spiritual awakening about 10 years ago. I used to run a photographic production company in Dubai and London, and had one of those very dark nights of the soul where my path completely changed. And, I experienced very bad anxiety and depression. And what got me out of that was using Reiki. It absolutely transformed my life. So it became my passion to then share that with other women. It started off with being a centre, really a sanctuary for women, teaching women, treating women, which then led on to children as well. And since establishing my school, I've helped different professionals, business professionals, coaches, professionals in investment banking, just helping them to train and use Reiki in their daily life and also in their business, which is quite interesting because it's very intuitively led. My training's very about, working with the intuition and drawing out your intuitive gifts and guidance in order to actually help people transform their lives as well.
That's absolutely fantastic. Thank you. I think a lot of people don't really realize that Reiki can be used for so many different things.
Mm.
And how did you come across that realization, though? Because it is quite unusual. Most people are teaching Reiki as the levels 1, 2, 3, master, and so on. So what was it that enabled you to actually realize that you could expand the scope of Reiki in the way that you have?
Yeah, I think that because I've always worked in a very professional environment. I've worked in the advertising sector for like the last 20 years. And from a very young age, I could read people very clearly in a room. Um, and so when I started to learn the Reiki, I thought, wow, it's like the meeting of two worlds. So I could actually take that back into a meeting room and start using my intuition to actually read the room. So as I was weaving the Reiki and learning about Reiki at that time, I was starting to practice it in the meetings that I had and the business setups that I had. And I thought, wow, this would be incredible actually to start teaching it and applying it in this way. So I run workshops for investment banking people. I run workshops for AXA Healthcare and different advertising agencies to really help them weave the foundations of energy work through meditation, through different techniques, different practices that they can just weave into their day. So it's making energy really accessible to everybody. That's kind of my mantra.
Emma, I think it's absolutely fantastic because I find it very interesting that healing, meditation, and energy therapies like Reiki and so on are really finding their way into the most unexpected places. For
Mm.
example, within this CMA, we've got various members of the armed forces at all sorts of different levels within the armed forces who are teaching healing, meditation, mindfulness, and so on. And the question is always comes back as well. Shouldn't soldiers not be meditating and be all calm and relaxed and loving kindness and so on? Well, the answer actually is the better the more calm a person is, it means the less reactive they are under stress, and the more they are able to make educated decisions under fire, literally. And it's really interesting because from what you're saying, I see the parallel, because a lot of people think, well, top performing executives, shouldn't they be sort of a bit like the Gordon Gekko, lunches for wimps and, push, 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 and so on. But do you find actually that a calmer, more considered, more measured mind is actually able to make better decisions at high level? Is that what you see in
Yeah.
the work that you teach?
Absolutely.
Right.
So, for example, I went in and I did a workshop last week for Mental Health Awareness Week, and it was into an investment banking company. And, I had them meditating, using different energy practices, tuning into their intuitive guidance, asking themselves a question, seeing what responses came up. And at the time, you could just see that in their minds that they were thinking, how's this going to help me? But I was saying to them that, notice how you feel at the start of the workshop, notice how you feel at the end. And the difference was incredible. They felt much calmer. They felt much more clarity as well in their thinking. So absolutely, yes, coming from a state of being calm, being considered, and you fire questions, and your accuracy is at the sort of a higher level, because you have got yourself into a state of feeling calm, but also you're accessing, your intuitive guidance, and you're accessing a part of your mind that knows the answer. So you're able to deliver those answers much quicker.
Yes, it's really truly fascinating. A lot of people think of Reiki, if they've experienced it. I think they understand the difference that you feel, not just mentally and emotionally, but also physically as well. It makes a huge difference. But also, of course, there are those skeptics who will say, "Oh, yeah, it's all woo woo," and but a lot of people don't realize there's actually a huge amount of research data on Reiki, on the efficacy of Reiki. One of my favorite books is Energy Medicine by Dr. James Oshman, which I'm sure you've read cover to cover many times. But it does actually show that, something is actually happening. And they've had meditators and Reiki practitioners in Faraday cages, and they can measure the electrocurrents coming from the chakra hand points, for example, and so on. So it is real. The problem, of course, is that, from a medical and research standpoint, we don't really know what's going on in the body when we receive or when we give Reiki. But what are your thoughts on that? And, when somebody, because I'm sure you must face a lot of sort of skeptics within the environment that you're teaching in. And so how do you deal with that? And what do you
Yes.
say?
Well, all of my students come and experience a treatment first.
Right.
I think that's fundamental, because they have to understand how it can work, how it can make them feel. And then I work with them on really establishing what their gift is. I believe that everybody has the ability to heal. I think that healing is a bit of a misused word in a way, but I think that, we all, with a Reiki, it's about allowing your body the natural ability to heal itself. And what happens is with the students is that they're guided to their own gift. So whether it's they're receiving color, whether they're receiving messages through hearing, whether they're actually picking up different frequency vibrations in the body. And once they start to feel that and understand that we are just frequency, that's what we are. We are just vibrating at either a high or a low level. And they start to feel that, that's when they can actually move themselves out of being skeptical into, wow, this I can feel it, and I can actually sense what's happening in the body. My gift was revealed to me when I had my spiritual awakening, which was the ability to see inside people's bodies. And I would never class myself as a doctor. I'm not that. And I would never diagnose, but I can see where the energy is stored in the body, where the body's out of alignment. I get shown snapshots of the skeleton, and I can, then guide people to go and see an osteopath. And at the time, that's obviously up to the client. But when they do, they always message me and say, oh my goodness, it was 100% accurate. So I think it's believing and trusting. And that's what I really nurture with my own students, is believing in themselves. The power that we have within us is phenomenal. So it's really just working and nurturing their own gifts.
Gosh. the way that you come across is so beautiful. You know, you're such a calming, beautiful, calming sort of center, and I can just imagine how wonderful it must be to be able to be taught by you. I think anybody who is taught by you must be very, very lucky indeed. So I suppose it begs the question: how do people come and train with you? What's the best way for people to find you?
Yeah, thank you. It's all through my website, and obviously on your beautiful website that you have. And yeah, all my courses are very detailed, and it shows you my training is very in depth. I believe that, on the website it shows you through day by day. It's a four days, and it's over 4 weeks. So the training's more geared towards professionals as well, so that they can not just do one chunk of time, so that they can access it on a weekly basis. In person, I do them. But yeah, all the information can be found on my website. But the way that I teach as well is very in depth. So I really get the students to understand the anatomy as well. So there's different levels of the training. There'll be the foundation level, then the level 1, then the level 2, right the way up to masters. And I also teach Sakim. So I've just qualified in Sakim mastery. So I'll be sharing that as well very soon.
Fantastic. Oh, that's really great. Could you explain? So, for people who aren't familiar
Mm,
with the difference between Reiki and Sikkim, would you
mm.
just be able to briefly explain the difference so they know, that they're, what else it is that you're able to offer?
Yes, so with Reiki, you work with the earth energy. You are tuning into obviously the different frequencies within your body and around, but with the Sakim, you're using all 4 elements. So you're accessing the frequency of fire, air, earth, and water. So it's a very old ancient healing modality, Sakim. It was used in the Egyptian temples. It's an initiation that's very powerful. It's a golden frequency. So once you access that, it takes you to a very higher frequency. And once you start using all those elements, it allows you to work very deeply on the physical level and also on the metaphysical.
That is absolutely wonderful. And again, the kinds of student that would be that you would like to work with, or might be attracted to working with you, will they tend to come from the corporate world, or are you just open to anybody making contact with you?
Yeah, open to anybody. I run workshops for children as well, which I will be doing a Reiki course for children because I absolutely love working with children. But yeah, I mean, the courses are open to anybody. I mean, if they're mums, dads, like as in full-time parents. I've had, people, all sorts of people on my courses, and also from the professional background as well. I have a specific program that I actually teach people and take them on a 5-week program, mainly for CEOs, business professionals, where they're not initiated into anything, but they're just taken on this 5-week journey, where I help them with guided meditations and different journaling exercises, gratitude practice. So yeah, I mean, it's open for everybody and anybody.
Oh, it's absolutely wonderful. Now, obviously, we've got viewers watching this
Mm.
on online, okay, on probably the CMA YouTube channel is the most likely place where people will find this video. But we also have people listening to the audio component. So can you just tell everybody what your website address is? So for the people who are listening, so they don't have to kind of, go and try and find it. So if you can just tell us what it is, that would be great.
Yeah, it's emmajanesims.com.
Okay, Sims, right,
Yeah,
.com.
yeah.
And then I was also just going to say, for anybody watching on YouTube, Emma Jane's website details are actually underneath in the show notes, so you'll be able to see those there. And of course, as you rightly say, you are there in full prominence on the CMA website as well. We're very, very lucky to have you. We're very, very proud to have you as a member. You're doing incredible work. And, we just really want to thank you for putting such important work and such important energy energy, healing and loving energy out into the world, because my goodness, it really is so needed. So, I just want to take my hat off to you
Oh,
and
thank
thank you
you.
for being such an extraordinary person, a beautiful healer. So,
Thank you
yes,
very
we're just so
much.
grateful. Thank you, Emma.
Yeah, thank you, Janie. I think it's, and it's an important time in everybody's life at the moment. And I think the more that we can access these different practices and different techniques to allow us to, be more centered and calm and more productive, innovative, creative, the better, really.
Yes, yes, I couldn't agree more. So, yes, well, thank you so much. And I really look forward to having you back in the not too distant future. Perhaps we can spend a little bit longer learning a bit more about your work, and perhaps even do a meditation session together,
Oh,
because we have got various exciting plans coming up in the CMA. So I'll keep you posted about that. And
I'd love to do that.
yes,
Yeah, that'd be
yes.
amazing.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. Well, thank you so much. This has been
Thank you, Janie.
really lovely. I've so enjoyed speaking with you. Thank you so much, Emma.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.